Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by thick forests and wide rivers, there lived a beautiful young woman named Adama. She was kind-hearted and hard-working, admired by many for her gentle spirit and unwavering strength. Suitors came from near and far, eager to win her heart, but Adama had high standards. She longed for a husband who was not only strong and handsome but also kind and wise. Adama's beauty and grace made her one of the most sought-after young women in the village. Many men desired her, and one by one, they came with gifts, promises, and displays of wealth and strength, but none could win her heart. Here is how she rejected each of them. Obi the wealthy merchant, he came with bags of gold, fine clothes, and promises of a life of luxury. But Adama saw greed in his eyes. He cared more about his wealth than about love. She turned him away, saying, "A house full of riches is empty without kindness." Ikin the handsome warrior, with muscles like a lion and the pride of a champion, he thought his looks and victories would impress Adama. But she saw his arrogance and how he looked down on others. She refused him, saying, "Strength without humility is like a tree with no roots, it will fall." Dike the hunter, he boasted about his hunting skills and how he could provide endless meat. But when Adama watched him, she noticed he lacked patience and kindness. He was cruel to his hunting dogs and cared little for the balance of nature. She told him, "A heart that does not respect life is not one I can trust." Ikenna the sweet talker, with honeyed words, he tried to charm her, promising love deeper than the ocean. But Adama knew that words were easy, and she saw how he spoke the same way to many women. She told him, "A man whose tongue is sweet but whose heart is empty will bring only sorrow." Namdi the drummer, his music could make people dance, and his voice was like a songbird's. But he loved only his craft and paid no attention to Adama's thoughts and dreams. She rejected him, saying, "A man whose heart belongs only to his art has no room for a wife." Ozoemena the farmer, a hard-working man who promised a life of peace and stability. But Adama saw that he feared change and would never allow her to dream beyond the small farm he wished to build. She said, "A love that cages the heart is no love at all." Is the prince, a royal son who expected her to marry him simply because of his title. But he had never worked a day in his life, nor did he understand the struggles of ordinary people. She turned him away, saying, "A crown without wisdom is as useless as a river with no water." Chima the jealous one, he loved Adama but could not stand seeing her speak with other men. He wanted to control her, to keep her only for himself. She refused him, saying, "Love that does not trust is like a bird that clips its own wings." Uche the fisherman, a skilled man of the river who could provide fish for a lifetime. But he had no ambition beyond what he knew. He feared traveling beyond familiar waters. Adama said, "A life without growth is a life wasted." So Medina the generous, a kind man who gave to everyone. But he had no sense of responsibility and would often give away what he could not afford. She told him, "A heart that gives without wisdom will soon have nothing left to offer." Nanso the fisherman's son, he had a good heart but was too timid to stand up for himself. Adama wanted a man who could be strong in kindness, not just in silence. She said, "A river that never moves will become stagnant." Emeka the dancer, he moved like the wind, graceful and full of joy. But he had no plans for the future, only for the next festival. She told him, a life spent only in dance will one day collapse in exhaustion. Uzoma the dreamer, he had big ideas but no action to back them. She told him, a man who dreams but never builds will always sleep hungry. She the angry one, he had a short temper, and Adama knew that love with him would be filled with storms. She told him, a fire that cannot be controlled will burn everything it touches. He bragged about his wealth and achievements, but Adama saw that his pride hid many insecurities. She said, a man who must always prove himself is a man who does not know himself. Tachukwu the last suitor, he was the kindest of them all but too afraid to take risks. Adama wanted a man who was both kind and courageous. She told him, a love that fears the unknown will never grow. The arrival of Obina. After turning away 20 men, people began to say that Adama would never marry. But she remained patient, trusting her heart. Then, one fateful evening, she met Obina by the river. He was different, mysterious, kind, and wise. He did not try to impress her with wealth or power but instead listened to her dreams and spoke of things beyond the village. Little did she know, Obina held a secret darker than any she had imagined. My name is Obina, the man said with a charming smile. I come from a distant village. I have been watching you from afar, and my heart has chosen you as my wife. Adama blushed but hesitated. She had never seen Obina in the neighboring villages. If you are from a distant village, why have I never heard of you before? Obina chuckled. My village is deep in the forest, hidden from the eyes of many. But I will take you there one day. Adama was captivated by Obina's kindness, his deep knowledge, and the way he treated her with respect. In time, she fell in love, and they got married. After their wedding, Obina took her to his village, but he always led her there at night, when the roads were dark and misty. She noticed that his village was always eerily silent, but she thought nothing of it. Years passed, and Adama gave birth to 4 beautiful children, 3 girls and a boy. They grew up strong and healthy, but she noticed something strange. Whenever she took them outside the village, the elders of her own village would stare at them with wide eyes, whispering among themselves. One day, her old mother called her aside. Adama, my child, there is something strange about your husband and your children. They are too quiet, their eyes too deep. Tell me, where is this village your husband comes from? Adama was troubled by her mother's words. That night, she told Obina, it is time you take me to your village in daylight. I want to see it with my own eyes. Obina hesitated. My love, you know we always travel at night. The road is difficult during the day. But Adama insisted. I am your wife. I deserve to know my home. Seeing her determination, Obina agreed. The next morning, they set out for the journey. But as they walked, Adama noticed something strange. Obina's footsteps left no marks on the dusty road. The trees seemed to part for him, and when they reached the village, the houses looked old and abandoned, as if no one had lived there for years. Obina's face darkened. He turned to her with sorrow in his eyes. Adama, he said softly, I have kept a secret from you. I am not like you. I am a spirit, a ghost of this land. My people have long passed away, but I could not bear to be alone, so I came to your world to find love. Adama's heart pounded in fear. Then, what about our children? They are part of both worlds, Obina said. They are alive but have the blood of spirits in them. Tears filled Adama's eyes. She loved her husband and children, but now she understood why the elders whispered, why her children were different. She could not live among the dead. She made a painful decision. Obina, I cannot stay here. I must return to my people. Obina's face filled with sadness. I understand, he said. But you must promise to take care of our children. Let them know they were loved by their father. With a heavy heart, when she returns to her village, she was taking to church for prayers from the spirit world. Though they were different, they grew up strong and wise, forever carrying the mysterious blood of their father's spirit. As for Obina, he disappeared into the wind, but on quiet nights, when the moon was full, Adama could still hear his voice whispering in the trees, watching over his family from the world of spirits.